Good morning, users! Alright, so, something I used to do a while back, like a couple of months ago, I'd say, was I just do streams where I looked at, like, games that were in, just like interesting weird indie games that I just like pulled randomly out of a giant itch.io bundle. And honestly, I've kind of missed doing that. It was it's like honestly, I really enjoyed doing that. So today I've decided to come back to it because there is another Twitch bundle running that I wanted to highlight. As you can see up there, it's the Trans Witches or Witches bundle. It's basically made in protest of a certain other wizard game sucking all the air out of the room and being the entire focus of conversation. Anyway, I don't particularly want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is this bundle and some of the stuff in it. I just pulled out like 12 random video games that were in the bundle. There are some tabletop stuff too, so I thought about just like pulling some of the tabletop stuff that could be played one player, but I mean the pattern repeats evenly now, so I kind of didn't want to mess with that. So anyway, let's mess with it by let's mess with that anyway by spinning the wheel and taking games off of it. For some reason this worked a lot better in my testing. Just because I didn't have the mechanical arm placed where it was, but anyway, Trans Witches or Witches, if you disagree, get stitches. Now give me a game that explores some interesting niches. Alright, this will take me a sec to set up, but should be pretty quick though. Anyway, so this one is a visual novel about a reporter and a kitty who kind of wants to devour the reporter whole. Anyway, this is definitely one of the more interesting ones. So so yeah, let's take a look at it, shall we? So here we go. So the first game we got on our wheel today is Deadline from Screensaver Studios. I say this is a visual novel, and I need to turn the sound down just a bit. So when I do these, I usually like to spend somewhere around like 20 to 30 minutes on each game. So yeah, let's get into this. Warning: this game contains profanity, themes of violence, death, existential dread, mentions of physical abuse, a cat obsessed with homicide, as we discussed when I was getting this set up, and is intended for mature audiences.
My name is Rebecca Thompson. I'm an investigative reporter for the Craven Herald. I don't like sitting in offices, so I do most of my actual writing at the Trevor Head Bar, across the street from the Herald's building. That night, I was working on a story my editor wanted me to drop. People have been going missing, and far from helping, the police have been covering it up.
Oh, this one has full voice acting. I'm already kind of impressed, honestly.
It's nearly 8 p.m. I was halfway through my third cup of coffee and fresh out of Leeds when a new one came stumbling through the door. Come on, Rebecca. You can figure this out. There's a story here. You just need to put it together.
Hey, bartender. Give me something off the top shelf. I'm celebrating tonight.
What are you celebrating exactly?
Hello. What are you doing here, Britt? His name was Officer Britt Masters, third-generation cop with a fourth-generation drinking problem. He was also a great source of information. Not because he willingly shared anything with me, but because he had an ego that made it impossible for him not to brag about what he knew. Especially if you were sitting behind him and he'd already started drinking.
Give me a second. There's one little thing I want to adjust because it's something I need to show off that I need to adjust the capture settings for. So the mouse cursor in this game is a cat paw. Is that not delightful?
He was usually the smuggest son of a bitch in the room. Unless there was a cop that ranked higher in it. But he looked shaken that night. Like a man who just had a brush with death. That probably explained why he was drinking in uniform, less than half a mile from the sheriff's department. As he downed his second shot of top-shelf whiskey, he seemed to settle down a little and started rambling. He was on the other side of the bar, but one of the things I love about the Trevor Head Bar is the opera-worthy acoustics. Live jazz night is amazing, and it's also great for listening in on conversations.
Convenient.
Oh, that's the good stuff. Hey, give me another shot of that. Yo, that has to be the best drink I ever had. Of course, this is probably the best day I've ever had. When the sheriff called me into his office, I thought for sure that was it for me. But you know what he did? He gave me a promotion. And not just any promotion, the promotion.
The promotion? What is this idiot talking about?
Well, we're about to find out, I think.
In fact, I'm about to head home and take it for a little test drive. I should be home right now, but you know what the chief said? He said, "Get yourself a drink on the way home, Master. Say you earned it." I thought my number was up after that damn reporter ran the article. Not that it was my fault. That's how I got the promotion. Because I put her on the wrong trail, you see. And now the sheriff is gonna...
Yes?
Come on.
Hey, you give me another one for the road, will ya? I got a big night ahead of me. Big night. That's what he said.
I watched him down his last drink without even tasting it. Then he stood up, a little unsteady. As much as drunk cop in uniform crash a squad car would have made a great headline, I knew I had to stop him from leaving. Apart from being a danger to the public, I was curious about what he'd said about the sheriff and his promotion. That's my biggest problem, according to my editor anyway. I'm just too damn curious. Hello, officer.
What the? Oh, it's you. Wait, it is you, isn't it?
Huh?
What am I saying? Of course it's you. Why wouldn't it be?
I'm the reporter you met at that apartment last week, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I meant. What are you doing here?
You're shaking, officer. Are you okay?
Yeah, of course I am. Never better. Yeah, course I am. Never better. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta get home.
In your condition? I wouldn't hear of it. Hey, Trevor, give me another round to help steady my friend's nerves.
Thanks, but I gotta get home and...
Oh, but you can't leave now, officer. I need your help.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm off duty.
But that's perfect. I've been looking for a good story after that terrible one I ran last time, and I think our readers would be really interested in hearing about the city's biggest rising star. What would you say to an interview?
Yeah, interview with me.
Hey, Flutters, nice to see you.
Well, of course. I know a success story when I see one. This promotion of yours is just the start. I believe I may be in the presence of the next sheriff.
Next sheriff, huh? Well, I might have had my eye on the job.
Hey, Flutters, that makes 2 cute robots here.
I guess I could spend a minute or two giving you the inside scoop on Sheriff Masters.
He spent the next hour telling me about himself while I kept the drinks coming and took notes on anything that sounded important. Which is to say, nothing. Getting an egotist to talk about anything other than himself is a delicate art that requires a lot of feigned attention, phoned-in compliments, scribbling on a notepad, and just the right pace of alcohol. My editor wasn't going to be happy when I sent them the bill for the bar, but then again, my editor was really happy with me anyway.
But then, I remembered the guy was right-handed, so I broke all his fingers on his left hand so he could sign a confession.
Wow, such skillful use of interrogation techniques.
It's all in the wrist.
Well, it's clearly not in your brain. You know, you're so good at solving cases. I bet you've already figured out that missing persons case at that apartment, too.
Missing person? If you're still calling that a missing persons case, you obviously have no idea what's really going on.
Finally. Oh?
Yeah, you people all think the mayor or the corporations are in charge of this town. But you want to know who the real top dog is?
Who?
Me!
Damn it. I must have gotten a bit too drunk. Now I'm trying to work on this elephant-sized ego.
Oh, you're trying your best.
Yep, I'm the one who's gonna be calling the shots in this town pretty soon. Sooner than that bitch of a sheriff thinks, anyway.
Okay, so the voice actor is just like improving some of their dialogue and their deliveries. It's like, honestly, it's kind of carrying this and like elevating the writing a bit, and I appreciate that.
I can't believe he was actually stupid enough to give me my own coin. Idiot.
Coin? I sat in silence and watched as he reached into his pocket and pulled out a large silver coin. I could only see one side of it, but from what I could see, it looked like it had one of those theater masks on it. The kind that were either smiling or frowning for comedy or tragedy.
Oh, a Two-Face coin.
He stared down at it. He clutched it in his fist, as if he were afraid it was going to fly out of his hand.
This is my ticket to everything. That bastard ain't gonna know what hit him. I mean, he ain't gonna know who hit him. I bet he thinks I'm not smart enough to know how to use it.
Ah, but you are smart enough, aren't you? I bet you could use that right now if you wanted to.
Sure I could. You just gotta know how to spin it.
Spin it? Does he mean lie? What's that have to do with that coin?
Hey, bartender! Give me another drink.
I think you've had enough.
What did you say to me? I'm the fucking law around here. Do what I tell you.
I think you better go home before I call some real officers to come get you.
I decided to take that as my cue to leave. But as I got up from the stool and scribbled a quick note telling Trevor to bill the night's drinks to the Cravenport PD, I heard something clink to the floor. I looked down and saw the silver coin Britt had been holding onto so tightly roll across the floor and come to a stop at my feet. The idiot must have dropped it in his drunken rage. I checked to make sure he was thoroughly distracted with trying to reach across the bar to get at Trevor, then bent down to pick up the coin and slip it into my pocket. I think I'll just be a good Samaritan and hold on to this for him, I said quietly to myself, then headed for the door. The last thing I heard before stepping out into the chilly October night was Britt threatening to beat Trevor into a pulp if he didn't give him another drink, while the bartender made a phone call to some more sober police officers.
I'm not sure they're gonna be any better.
You've tried to make it far, to see secrets that mar.
I was not expecting a musical number in this random itch.io visual novel. I'm genuinely impressed with the production values here. Oh, they have opening credits and everything.
You think you might have found, but the veils just keep coming down. These are the blues you've been warned of. They told you just not to bother yourself again. These are the secrets that matter.
We haven't even met the cat yet. There's a reason the mouse cursor in this game is a cat's paw.
Keep the rotting secrets to yourself.
Thank you for the musical number, Ominous Pigeon Master.
I could set you free, free to the world, and the morbid malign wrapped in the center. Curiosity will get you cold.
So I will point out that I tried one of this developer's other games, and it did not have these production values, is what I'm gonna say right now. Like, this is a huge step up for them.
I arrived home at my new apartment about 20 minutes later. My brisk walk in the chilly October air had done nothing to help me put together all the new puzzle pieces I'd gotten from Britt. The pocket where I'd stashed the coin felt especially cold, like I was carrying around an ice cube that refused to melt. The hell's this thing made of? Ow!
Okay, game's not gonna read that one aloud? No? Okay, I guess I will. The coin was so cold, it burned the tip of my finger when I reached in to touch it like it was made out of dry ice. When I cautiously reached back into my pocket to try again, the metal coin merely felt cool instead of painfully freezing. Oh, it's a magic coin, like I assumed, but...
The tip of my finger when I reached in to touch it, like it was made out of dry ice. But when I cautiously reached back
there we
into my
go.
pocket to try again, the metal coin merely felt cool instead of painfully freezing. I went into my
Must have
kitchen
been static
and turned on the
electricity
light
or
so I could examine
something.
it.
Sure.
It was heavy enough to be real silver, but there was something weirdly unsettling about it. The shadows on it didn't seem right somehow. Almost like it was eating the light in my dim apartment.
Delicious light.
One side of the coin was a theater mask, split down the middle to represent comedy and tragedy. The other side was blank, but so polished it could be used as a mirror. As I turned it over in hand, my skin seemed to cling to the metal, but it didn't feel sticky. It's weird, but not much of a lead. It looks like a commemorative coin for a theater group, but that cop said it was his ticket to everything so long as he knew how to spin it. Maybe it's some kind of proof of membership to a club or something. Hell, for all I know, it's a ticket into the Illuminati. But why would any secret organization let a loudmouth asshole like Brit into their ranks? My cell buzzed in my other pocket. I usually don't get phone calls that late, unless it was from an informant with a hot tip. But when I saw who was calling, I knew I was in for anything but good news. Hey, boss. What can I do for you? Need someone to read you a bedtime story?
I wouldn't trust you to read Hey Diddle Diddle without adding some controversial message into it, Thompson.
Susan Fink was the editor-in-chief of Craven Herald. Or at least that's what it said on the door to her office. Her unofficial title was the head clipper. Anything that came across her desk that could be taken as even slightly controversial got sent back with specific notes about what had to be clipped. She and I had been butting heads since I started working there, but we had a mutual respect for each other's talents. Susan made sure the Herald was the #1 source of verified news in town, and I made sure we got the inside scoop on the biggest headlines before our competitors, often before anyone even knew there was a headline.
How about you tell me what the hell you think you're playing at?
Well, I don't know about playing, but I was thinking about going to bed. You know, like most people do around this time.
Most people don't have stubborn reporters trying to paint a target on their newspaper. Now, I want you to explain to me why my newspaper has an article promoting a conspiracy theory on it this afternoon. An article I told you there was no way in hell we were going to print.
Is that what you said? Oh, I'm sorry, boss. I must have misheard.
My ass, you misheard.
Hey, you were busy in a meeting, and I was just reporting some simple facts.
Implying that the police are purposefully ignoring or even covering up several disappearances isn't reporting the facts, it's slander. And I'm the one who gets angry phone calls if that slander appears in my paper.
It's only slander if it's untrue. I listed a mountain of evidence in that.
Circumstantial evidence and a lot of inference. Look, Thompson, you're one hell of an investigative reporter. But if you don't drop the story, or at least change the angle on it to something the sheriff can approve of, I'm going to have to cut you loose before you drag me and the rest of my newspaper down with you on this insane crusade of yours.
It's not a crusade, boss. It's an investigation. And I know they're up to something. I had a cop as good as admitted to me in the bar tonight.
What cop? The same one that you put into this big story you've put my newspaper in the crosshairs for?
Yes?
Oh, damn it, Thompson. Are you stalking him or something?
No, he just came into the bar while I was writing and started talking about getting a promotion.
Probably for giving the sheriff the excuse he's been looking for to come after my neck.
Huh? Wait, you mean you were already on the sheriff's shit list?
Again, the voice acting doing a lot of heavy lifting, like elevating this dialogue.
Thompson, do you ever read anything in our paper besides what you write in it? We ran articles against the bastard when he first went up for election 4 years ago.
I remember. And I remember how you lost all your bite and started kissing his ass as soon as he won.
Because only an idiot pokes a rabid dog while it's holding its own leash. The only reason the Herald is still running is because we played nice.
We're a newspaper. We're not supposed to run propaganda. We owe it to the public to give them the truth.
Not when it's gonna get us shut down and put on a missing persons list, it's not.
Missing? Wait, what are you talking about?
Nothing. Just your stupid paranoia getting to me.
I don't believe you. What do you know, boss? Does it have anything to do with the theater group?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Just a new angle I was working on.
Well, stop working it.
First time I've ever heard that.
What do you even think you're going to find? What big conspiracy do you think you're going to get on the trail of?
People are disappearing, and the police are covering it all up.
Are they? Maybe they're just investigating these disappearances and don't want to share any details with a pain-in-the-ass reporter.
It's a cover-up. I told you. The cop at the bar tonight practically admitted it.
A cover-up for whom? So far, all you've done is point at the police and say they're hiding something without even a reason to back it up. Do you even have a motive?
They're cops.
Or better yet, how about an actual crime you can accuse them of? It isn't against the law for the police to withhold information on an ongoing investigation.
But they're not doing an investigation.
How do you know?
I just do. While I was talking on the phone, I kept absentmindedly playing with the coin in my hand. I could already tell I was in for a long night. So I decided to grab my mug out of the sink and make some coffee. I needed a free hand though, so I put the coin on the table. But instead of just dropping it there, I spun it on its edge without even thinking about it.
Enough. I didn't call you at nearly 10 o'clock at night to argue with you.
Then why did you call?
Because I figured I should be more courteous to you than you were to me when you ran your last article. I'm calling to let you know that your follow-up will be appearing in tomorrow's morning edition.
What? But then why are you telling me to drop it? Wait, tomorrow's morning edition? But that barely gives me any time to write up my story. I'm still investigating a new lead.
Oh, don't worry. The article's already been written. I had Wesley write it up today while you were out.
Wesley? That sniveling little bootlicker from Human Interest?
Precisely. He wrote up a wonderfully apologetic article that clears up all the misunderstandings stemming from your last article.
Oh,
Just
God!
praise our brave police force. Exactly what we need to dig ourselves out of the grave you've been digging for us.
And you're going to publish that cowardly trash under my name?
Yes, and it's going to save my neck and yours. You should be thanking me.
I don't need this kind of favor. This is yellow journalism in every sense of the word.
Unless you've got a motive, a concrete charge, and some ironclad evidence to support your little crusade, this is the only thing I can do to keep you from getting picked up by the police next time you sneeze in public.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the story is just gonna be us chasing this down so that doesn't happen.
That's all you need then? A crime, a motive, and some evidence?
That wasn't an invitation.
But if I can get you all that by morning, you'll let me run my own article instead of that trash your kiss ass wrote in my name?
Fine. Since you're so determined to dig your own grave, I'll let you tire yourself out. But it has to be approved by me personally.
It'll be on your desk, first thing in the morning. You won't regret this.
I doubt that.
Great. Now all I have to do is come up with a killer story in 6 hours, or my reputation goes down the toilet.
Make up your mind. Do you need a story or a crime?
Who's there?
Well, we did spin that magic coin earlier, so...
Not sure yet. You haven't given me any explicit instructions on who to be.
Show yourself!
Your wish is my command.
I watched as a swirling mass of black smoke and shadows began to form itself into the rough silhouette of a person sitting casually at my table. The shape rippled and undulated for a second before solidifying into a very solid and very familiar form.
Ta-da!
What the hell?
No, but close.
They weren't a perfect replica of me. Their outside was hazy and indistinct at the edges, as if their body were made from living smoke. The most solid thing about them was their glowing orange eyes. For a few seconds, I just stared at the otherworldly being seated at my kitchen table. Then, my eyes went to the coin laying flat in front of it. Who are you? Why do you look like me?
Hey, so it's a magic demon summoning coin. Okay, that's perfectly normal.
Around to copy.
You're linked to that coin, aren't you?
Oh, we've got a smart one here. I usually have to spend a good 10 minutes trying to spell things out for you humans. This is a nice change of pace.
I'm a reporter. I put things together fast.
Including the fact that magic and the supernatural are real?
There's been a lot of weird and unexplainable things in this town. Though I have to admit, you're still kind of unbelievable.
I'll take that as a compliment.
I swallowed and tried to collect my wits about me. When people are put under stress, they fall back on what they know. Put pressure on a baby, and they cry. Turn the tables on a cop, and they'll do anything to reassert their power over you. I'm a reporter, so when I'm thrown into an impossible situation, I start interviewing people. So, you're some kind of shapeshifter.
That? Or I'm just a really big fan of yours.
And you said I gave you order earlier.
Did I?
Are you like Ginny or something?
Oh, you are clever, aren't you? Yes, but only in the worst respects.
Something. Oh god, I do not remember those lines from The Simpsons. It's too early in the morning, I say at 11:40 in the morning.
Well, I can't make riches appear out of thin air, or alter other people's minds with a wave of whatever appendages I happen to have at the moment. What you see is what you get with me. But as you so accurately pointed out, I am a shapeshifter, so you can see anything you want.
So, how many wishes do I get?
As many as you're alive to make. But I'm afraid I can only handle one request at a time, and there's no way to make me cancel an order once it's been given. Which brings us back to my original question. What exactly was your command? You said you needed a crime, a motive, and some evidence, right? Can I just do anything illegal, or do you have a specific offense in mind?
Wow!
What? No.
Okay.
I wasn't telling you to do a crime. I was just talking to my editor.
Editor? Ah, you need a crime story to report on. No worries, I'll give you a killer story. Anybody you don't like? Ex-boyfriend, landlord, work rival?
I said I wasn't telling you to do a crime.
Fine, be boring.
Maybe we can come back to the landlord thing later, though.
There we go. All right, so what's the story you need?
There's been a lot of missing person cases around town lately that the police have been covering up. Don't suppose you know anything about that, do you?
Nope. Can't say I know anything about missing people. Then again, I don't really like people that much, so it's hard to miss them.
Cute. But I think it's a little too much of a coincidence that a cop just happens to have a magic coin with a homicidal... whatever you are inside it.
Aha! But you said missing person cases, not homicides.
And you're a shapeshifter who can appear and presumably disappear into thin air.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to make assumptions?
Call it an educated guess.
You know, you're both remarkably calm and surprisingly nervous about all this.
Yeah, she's got a lot going on tonight.
A creature just appeared in my house with my face and keeps offering to kill people. I'd be an idiot if I wasn't on edge.
Oh, you are clever. Maybe a little too clever.
They stood up and picked up the coin off the table. Then, they started coming toward me. I blindly grabbed a kitchen knife from the knife block on the counter and pointed it at the approaching creature. What are you doing? Stay back!
Oh no! Don't! Anything but a pie server!
Huh? The creature doubled over with laughter as I looked down at what I was holding. Sure enough, in my panic, I had managed to grab the single least deadly item out of my knife block.
Oh wow, you are a riot master.
Master?
Or mistress, whatever you prefer. Either way, you can relax. I'm just handing this back to you.
They held out a hand identical to mine and offered me the coin. After a moment's hesitation, I took it. As soon as the coin touched my skin, the creature's smoky features solidified, and its eyes changed from glowing orange to normal human ones. It was like looking in a mirror.
There we go. That should bring things a bit more into focus for both of us. Now, as long as you're holding my coin, you are my master. I cannot hurt you or lie to you.
So, why would you make me hold it?
Because human life force is what sustains me. And without a direct source, I can't even hold a shape very well, as you can see.
My life force?
Don't worry, I don't eat very much. All you'll notice is that the coin is always a bit cool to the touch.
So you feed off my body heat?
It's a little more complicated than that, but the cost to you is the same. My old masters would put me on a chain and wear me right next to their heart. But feel free to slip me anywhere I can keep in contact with that delicious skin of yours.
I think I'll just hold on to it
Skin.
for now. But can you be something else? This talking to myself thing is really weirding me out.
I live to serve.
The creature's body blurred and twisted like a plume of living smoke again. Then it re-solidified on my kitchen table in the form of a sleek black cat.
Hi, this is why the
Its
cursor's
eyes,
like
They
this.
glowed with that same otherworldly orange light for a moment. Then it stretched out, elongating its claws and yawning widely, showing rows of sharp,
Skinless.
needle-like teeth.
Skinless. No! No!
I'd never thought of a house cat as intimidating before, but as it flashed a cartoonish
No
gruesome
skin
grin at me, I
lasagna!
felt a chill go up my spine.
Better.
A talking cat. Yeah, that's much better.
A talking cat? Like the hit movie? A talking cat, which is not a hit in any way?
I can try again if you like. Perhaps you'd find a talking skeleton. Ooh, or the severed head of a Greek slave more acceptable.
We'll stick with the cat.
Perfect.
Fuck you.
Well, you can certainly do that later too if you want. Although it's going to be a bit awkward if you keep me in this form while we do it.
Game, please.
Gross. Just stop. Just stop everything you're doing right now.
Can't. You gave me an order.
Hold on. I never actually gave you a direct order other than show yourself and be something else, which you obeyed.
Those were just addendums to how I execute an order. When you summoned me, you said you needed a crime, a motive, and some evidence. And I exist to see my master's needs, especially when given such a specific and obtainable list.
That's still not a direct order.
Ugh, fine. Since this is our first meeting, I will allow you to clarify my instructions.
I order you to help me find the truth and write a story for my editor that will save my career and expose those responsible for the disappearances by morning.
Yeesh! Why don't you add "and vanquish the forces of evil" to the end of that?
Don't tempt me.
Very well. I hear and I obey.
Good. All right. Let's get started.
Agreed. And I certainly hope this is possible.
What do you mean?
Well, as I said, I'm not omnipotent. I can't just snap my non-existent fingers to create your perfect story out of thin air. Even with my help, this is going to be mostly up to you.
What happens if I can't do it by then?
Well, that's an interesting question you should have asked 2 minutes ago. The exact terms of my service are that I must fulfill the command of any living master I have.
I have the feeling that living is an important phrase here.
I did not think to program me with the possibility of failure. So, in the event I am given an impossible task, I would be forced to render the task null by either finding a new master or removing the living condition from my current one.
So it's not just my reputation on the line, it's my life?
From the way you were going on about it earlier, I assumed that was essentially the same thing anyway.
Great. Remind me to really watch my mouth around you.
Getting a little ahead of ourselves again? I believe you said your article should be on the editor's desk by sunrise. That's only in a few hours. Unless the world turns differently now.
I stared at the bastard for another second. But what choice did I have? My mouth had gotten me into a lot of trouble in the past. But this one really took the cake. Okay.
Okay, so anyway, there's substantially more of that game. But But yeah, I don't know that I'll come back to that, but
We're ready to set sail, or the cannons
it was different than I expected.
We're troublesome corsairs. We've come to steal your treasure. We would shoot you.
Let's take that off the list and let's go again.
Trim the sails and roam the sea.
Trans witches or witches, if you disagree, get stitches now. Give me a game that fills some interesting niches. Alright, so this one is another visual novel. I guess it won't be too surprising that there are a lot of visual novels in this bundle. It's an itch.io bundle. Visual novels are a genre you can do on a relatively low budget, so they just show up a lot. So if any of you know One Night Hot Springs, or like the collection it was featured in called A Year of Springs, then this is a game by the same developer. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this one working today, or at least I'd have to spend a while poking at it. It's like I'm kind of sad about that, honestly. I'll have to I will 100% have to come back and try that one again on a future stream, because yeah, that's one of the ones I was looking forward to. Oh well. Let's give this another go. Sorry, I'm not doing the song this time. I just did the song like a minute ago. Right, to free and love myself. Okay, so this one's a twine game. It will give me it will take me a minute to set up the capture for this one, but yeah. Hi Hex, nice to see you. Alright, Hex, and let's see here. So this game doesn't have any music, because again, twine game. So let me see if I can just put something on. It's like, yeah, just some some music from a pretzel playlist called Comic Cinematics. I don't know how it's like this may or may not feature me into the game's actual subject matter, but like, yeah. And content warnings: blood, gore, weapons, anxiety attacks, gender dysphoria, transphobia, brief suicide mention, non-graphic sexual content, one ending. So I don't know how much of that we're gonna explore in the like 20 to 30 minutes we're looking at this game, but if you're not feeling up to seeing that stuff this morning, I understand, and I'll see you in 20 to 30 minutes. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourselves, folks. A horrifying monster has threatened your home realm for thousands of years. No one knows where it came from or who created it, but the creature requires an incredible amount of magical energy to survive. But almost said might disappear if you don't get to the charger in time. Alright, yeah. Like, again, I'll understand if you I'll like more than understand if you need to disappear. No one knows where it came from or who created it, but the creature requires requires an incredible amount of magical energy to survive. This throws off the balance of magic, causing chaos and disorder for the wizards of this realm. Many wizards of varying creeds have traveled to the cave that the monster lives in to attempt to defeat the beast. No doubt such a person will become a beloved hero should they succeed. The monster will die, the realm will be saved, and rumor has it the conqueror will receive any wish their heart desires. Of course, no one has actually succeeded in the quest so far. Even the most noble of people are crushed by the immense power of the monster. Seems hopeless and try to fight the monster, especially someone as small as yourself, and yet here you are on the journey to the dangerous home of the beast. You crawl towards your destination clumsily, large chunks of flesh protruding from odd parts of your body. A blood trail follows your every step, oozing endlessly from a hidden wound. It's not a wound in the traditional sense. It hurts a bit, but it's more of a wound to your heart than anything. You don't want to think about what it actually is. Stop thinking about it. Stop. Stop, 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 stop. You've lived in this awful body all your life, and every day it brings you pain. Your body is aching. You want nothing more than to turn back and rest. But you must do this. You need that wish, no matter what it takes. Go forward. Almost everyone who lays their eyes on your body winces in disgust. Well, this game, really unflinching and, yeah, this is a bit heavy, but, so again, I'm gonna continue with this, but anyone who needs to duck out, I duck out for a little while. I 100% understand. Again, please take care of yourselves. The hate in their eyes was so strong that it eventually led you to hate yourself. But yet, when you expressed the desire to change your body at a young age, you were told the same lines again and again by total strangers, by adults you trusted, by friends that turned on you. Everyone had something disapproving to say about you. This is the body that God gifted you. How dare you even think of mutilating it? Why are you so ungrateful? What's with your negative attitude all the time, you insolent fool? Nobody wants to hear those kinds of things. Whatever happens, you'll... Yes, I already am a girl, thank you. I'm dissatisfied with your appearance. Why don't you just... go? Well, darling, you're alright. First person who have ever accepted you and showed you great kindness. Your dear Harper. Their presence encourages you to draw forward. Without them, what are you going to do? You're going to have to separate soon. Will you run away like the coward you really are? Of course you're not alright. It may worry them if you tell the truth. How will you respond to your lover? I'm scared. You tell them everything. You bare your soul to them. Their stretch marks branch out like the thorns of a golden barrel cactus as they pull you in close. You rest your head against their chest, hearing the soft rhythm of their heartbeat blended perfectly with the sound of water droplets flowing from the cave ceiling. Even though you're about to face the greatest threat of your life, you feel safe and calm in their arms. You don't want to do this alone without them, but you have to. Click on and calm. You feel safe and calm and warm in their arms. You feel safe and calm and warm, like everything is going to be okay in their arms. Don't want to do this alone, but you have to. Dear, we're reaching the creature's den soon. Have to part ways at the entrance, says Harper, a somber tone in contrast with her usual cheery demeanor. Yes, I know. Don't worry, my darling. I've trained hard for this and studied well. I promise I will get through this and we can live happily ever after, you say. I believe in you, Miguel. But if this is a goodbye, then you don't want to say goodbye. The other thing is, but if you never see each other again, wouldn't it be awful if you never said goodbye? You should say goodbye just in case. It's like, I don't want us to say our goodbyes, you say, because we don't have to. I'll come back for you completely unharmed, I promise. Of course, I just want you to know that I love you, always. Do your best, okay? You know that they're trying their best to remain composed, but you noticed. The usual calm and confident Harper, they're shaking. You embrace them tightly, stroking their lovely curls. You avoid thinking too much about the fact that this may be the last time you touch forever. Welcome back, Flutters. Again, I'm like 7 minutes into this, and it's feeling a little a little rough to me emotionally. So like, if you or anyone else needs to skip out on this game, I 100% understand. And yeah, Flutters, that's fair regardless. You head towards the monster's dwelling. You can't bring yourself to turn around. If you took just a single glance back at Harper, you know in your heart that you'd come running to them, begging for their help. You mustn't. This is something you have to do on your own. But then why does it feel so wrong? You climb over the boulders blocking the entrance to the monster's den. You attempt to peer in before entering, but your vision is completely blocked. You'll just have to take the plunge. Just as you enter, you're met with an otherworldly cold. Feel your fingertips go numb, a sensation like needles piercing at your skin. Haven't even started fighting, and you already feel so weak. Sense a flicker of movement through the corner of your eye. Tendrils curl out from within a dark corner. Cave cracks open with the ease of an egg as something rises out of the depths. It's more fearsome than you could have imagined. The monster towers over you, teeth gnarled, eyes red like blood. You draw one of your magic weapons, an enchanted Makuahuitl, unsteadily holding it at the ready while you shiver. Maybe it's due to the cold, maybe it's due to fear, but there's no time to dwell on it. You mentally prepare a plan of attack just as the monster starts to charge towards you. Only have a few tools in your arsenal, but they should be enough to get by. An enchanted Makuahuitl, both arrows tipped in magic poison, and your own 2 legs. At your side is your trusty Makuahuitl, enchanted with a spell that makes its strikes more accurate, more deadly. The wood base is sturdy and embedded with obsidian blade sharp enough to slice a person in 2. Carvings within the woods representing the things that are most important to you. Your homeland, your partner, your friends, your identity. You must persist for the sake of everything you care about. With arrows dripped in a magic poison. Tucked into your sling, your bow and arrow are ready at a moment's notice. Preparation for this battle, you dip the obsidian arrow tips into a magical poison that can sedate even the largest of predators during typical hunts. Just hope it'll have a similar effect on a monster as fearsome as this. You remind yourself that you need to do this. Must defeat that ghastly beast. You need to earn your deepest wish, no matter what it takes. But your first course of action, run in an attempt to confuse the monster or face the monster head on? I feel like we should just face it head on. The monster runs at you, its head tilted towards you like a battering ram. At the final second, you swerve out of the way and raise your Makuahuitl above your head. As it rushes past you, you strike the monster's middle. Creature lets out a horrifying shriek as a loud crack resounds through the cave. It limps away from you, shaking seemingly from the pain of its broken bone. A small victory, but it's not over yet. Anticipate that the creature will come back for you with a vengeance once it recovers from your blow. What do you do? Continue to fight as you feel confident, or run while the monster is distracted because you need time to form a strategy? I say we continue to fight. You take a chance and boldly head straight for the monster, your makwahito at the ready. Monster stares at you cautiously, and yet doesn't move an inch. You lock eyes with the creature, feeling a strong amount of magic from within it. That magic, it belongs to you. You need that wish, and this hideous monster must die for you to earn it. Now, face to face with the creature, you don't hesitate to bludgeon it square in the head. Monster flails repeatedly in pain, crashing down with such sheer force that it sends you flying into a patch of thick, murky fog. You soon hear the monster continue to thump about, searching for where you could have gone. What will you do during this brief moment of safety? Either shoot a poison arrow from this hiding spot or try to find a more secure one. I'm gonna shoot an arrow from here. In an effort not to call the attention of the monster, you choose your lighter weapon for this attack. Perhaps you'll be able to catch it by surprise and kill the thing for good. You take out your bow and arrow. The obsidian tip of your arrow sparkles, even in the low light of the cave. You draw the arrow, trying to steady your aim for its head. Try to ground yourself and accidentally kick some rocks to the side, alerting the monster to your location. It charges towards you faster than you can react. It drives its legs straight into your arrow, throwing off balance and onto the ground. Hardly even seems phased from being pierced. Magic poison leaks from its wound. However, far from the sleeping effect you hoped the poison would have on your foe, seems to throw the creature into disoriented rage. It stomps onto you. Feel extreme pain as your blood, the bright red shade of Aqua de Jamaica, bursts out of you. It rams its head into your torso. You feel something within you snap. There's a ringing in your ears. You're screaming? You can't tell anymore. Your body is completely in shock. Sinks its teeth into your breast, ripping your flesh apart. Never liked that part of you anyways. At least it could do you a small favor before your end. You're bleeding out. It's just not your period anymore. It's everywhere. Monster towers over you now, baring its sharp teeth. Feel a strange emotion in its eyes. Is it sadness? Doesn't do anything other than watch you intensely. Pain you are feeling is slowly fading away as your vision begins to blur. You're left only with a sinking numbness. Your body feels so cold all of a sudden. Heartbeat becomes frantic, fighting for your life as you realize what's happening to you. Can't think of anything else except how scared you are that you're going to die here. Don't want to die. Not like this. The last blip of energy you scream at a resounding, "Help me, please!" Took a lot out of you. Your body forces you to rest and close your eyes. Hear the pitter-patter of frantic footsteps heading towards you, a faint shouting. What is that? Miguel! Miguel! You pry open your eyes. The world dances as your blurred vision clears up just enough to see Harper running towards you. The sound of their panting filling the cavern. No! No! You start panicking. Monster's gonna come after them now. No, you don't want them to die too. Start looking for where the monster is and you are pleasantly surprised to see that it's just lying there. It closely watches them in a docile state. They finally reach you, a look of horror on their face, as they see how hurt you are up close. They pull your fragile body into a hug, careful not to cause you pain as they do so. Sparkles of light dazzle over you as you see the warmth of their healing spell wash over you. Completely healed in your lover's arms, everything is okay now. From this angle, now that you're not actively fighting... Oh, thank you, Hex! Now that you're not actively fighting, you notice something about the monster. Looks hurt, tired, even a bit scared. And now that it's not actively being threatened, The creature is completely still. Could it have only lashed out at you because it was trying to defend itself? Never expecting the creature to have this degree of intelligence. You hold on to Harper to steady yourself as the two of you both stand together once more. You know what you need to do now. You realize that this is what you needed to be doing all along. You don't have to be doing this alone. You don't have to resort to violence to earn your wish. The love between you two will make anything possible, as long as you do it together. I don't feel that fighting the monster is the right thing to do here, Miguel. I want to help it. You're alright with me trying a new approach? I trust your judgment, Harper. I feel the same way. Alright, let me heal you, little one, they say, reaching their hand out towards the monster's rough snout. It hesitates at first, perhaps unused to kindness from a human, but soon warms up to their touch. Harper then casts a healing spell upon the creature, mending even its deepest wounds, as a wave of calm washes over the cave. The monster transforms into a small, baby-like version of its formerly fearsome self. Harper plops it down directly onto the cave floor, letting the creature doze off into its long-awaited slumber. An orb. I had to. An orb of pure light appears and floats down like a feather towards you. You cradle it in your hands gingerly. Is this the essence of your wish? Look towards Harper and they nod back at you silently. Wait, sweetheart. You did more to ultimately subdue the creature than I did. I think you should have this. That's very sweet of you, Miguel. But you're always thinking about everyone except yourself, honey. It's a noble trait, really. But you deserve this. You need to be kinder with yourself. I want you to have this wish. Now go on. I'll be here, awaiting your return. Harper gives your hand one final squeeze before leaving you to your own devices in this cave. Finally, your one true wish, ready to be granted. You can hardly believe it's happening. You close your eyes and think to yourself, I want to transition into the real me. Suddenly, you are alone, bathed in a sea of light as brilliance floods the space around you. Your wish has been granted. What you've waited your entire life for. Now, you'll need to create your new form somehow. What will you do with this body of yours? I can crush it, heal it, or erase it. It's like, I don't want it anymore. The old you was erased. He's gone forever. You can hardly remember what it was like before, other than vague moments of joy and a dull pain reverberating through your mind. The moments of joy remain with you. And within everything in this world, you toss out the pain. You don't have to hurt anymore. You're free. It stopped. You give yourself just enough time to gain your bearings. The cave, the magic flowing in the wind, the crickets and their echoing chirps, the chilling breath of the desert night. They're all compelling you to reunite with your lover as soon as possible. You climb out of the cave in a bit of a daze. Everything feels so different now. Harper turns around, alerting by her rustling. Looks like they're just about done with prepping the horses for departure. They look at you with a gentle smile. Honey, you look so stunning, says Harper. You really think so? You ask. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? I just wasn't sure that you would like how I look now. You don't have to worry about that. You look amazing. And more than that, I just want whatever makes you happy. No matter what happens, you are you, and I love you. I love you too, you say with all your heart. So much. Are you ready to start the journey home? You nod, climbing onto your horse as you take a drink of water. Only a small sip. You'll have to save your resources. It's a long way home from here. You've been on the path back home for what feels like hours now. It's a pleasant desert night. A bit chilly, but not cold enough to feel uncomfortable. Miguel, look! There's a lake close by. We should stop there to collect some water. You nod in agreement. You rein in your horse, bring it to a gradual halt. Harper follows closely behind, guiding their horse back towards the lake for a drink. You both take a short break in the dark blanket of the night. Twinkling stars linger above, scattered perfectly throughout the midnight sky. A gentle breeze blows through your hair, a moment of tranquility. Certainly welcome after that great battle. You see Harper filling your magic satchels with fresh water in the distance. Looks like they'll be preoccupied for a while, so you have some time. To yourself. In the heat of combat, you hadn't the chance to look at the changes to your body yet. Your deepest wish that you risked everything for. Now has come the fateful time to witness the rewards of your labor. But you hesitate. What if you don't like your new body? What if after everything you went through to get here, you want to turn back? Those anxieties ring through your mind, a reverberating bell tolling through your skull. Take a moment to collect yourself, breathing in and out. In the end, you resolve that you ought to take a look at your new form. You'll need to see yourself eventually. Might as well face the fear before returning to your homeland. Take off your combat gear, stripping down to only your basic garments. You avert your eyes out of habit. You never enjoyed having to see your body when you changed previously and avoided doing so whenever possible. Opening your eyes with caution, you peer over the softly flowing grass in the meadow, tilting your head towards the endless lake below. A hand on your back freezes you in your tracks. Gosh, they surprised you. I guess you're still a bit jumpy from the fight. Harper gives you a playful smile, always the mischievous trickster. They also have a certain look in their eyes. You know that look. Hello, darling, they say, a sensual tone in their voice. I see you're exploring this new body of yours. You mind if I do a little exploring with you? Options rather. I'd love that. Please touch me, or I'd like some time alone with that. But no, I'd love that. Please touch me. I'd love that. Please touch me. Everywhere. However you'd like. I want to discover my body with you. They run their soft hands over your flat chest. Feels so much better to be touched there now. Before, your chest used to make you so insecure. Felt so much shame, only feeling slightly better when Harper assured you that they'd never see you as a woman. You just wanted to hide away your body forever. But now, everything just feels so good, better than you could have dreamed. Their fingers pressing against your soft skin and nipples feels amazing. For your scar feels strange, numb, yet weirdly electrifying. You splash water everywhere as you squirm, desperate for more. Crickets chirping, the rustling of small animals in the grass. The small moans from both you and Harper come together to form a beautiful song in the night. Your dear Harper pulls you in for a kiss. You hold on to them like your life depends on it. You know you'll be okay now. As long as you're in their arms, nothing can ever hope to hurt you. Your bodies touch and squish together in the cool air of the desert night. You want them, they want you. It couldn't be more perfect. They feel whatever you can get a hold of. Your chest, your stomach, your thighs, inside of you. No part of your body is left untouched. You love them. They love you. You love them so much. You rest your head on their chests as you recover. You feel yourself start to fall asleep in your arms as they carry you over to a grass patch beside the lake. Seems like you'll be sleeping here for the night. They swing their arm around you, wrapping you in their warmth. You'll have to continue your journey tomorrow. You worry about how you'll be welcomed when you return home from your adventures. After all, no one's ever seen you like this before, but you know everything will be okay. As long as you have each other, it'll always be okay. The end. That was lovely. That was lovely. It was lovely and absolutely beautiful, and that was touching. I loved that. I loved that a lot. It's so nice. It's like, thank you for going on that little journey with me, y'all. I'm not ending this stream yet, but I need to step away for a couple minutes. That was a lot of reading, and starting to feel like the slightest bit lightheaded. So yeah, I will be back in a couple of minutes. Oh well, anyway, I'm back. Hey y'all. No, so that was fun. I think I'm gonna do like one or two more of these. Hey Baxter, nice to see you. So, and yeah, as a reminder, the games I'm playing today are from bundle going on itch, which is called Trans Witches or Witches. The proceeds are just going to the like LGBTQ plus developers of these titles. as like a protest to a certain other game sucking all the air out of the room. But let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about these. Trans Witches or Witches. If you disagree, get stitches now. Give me a game that explores some interesting niches. And yeah, a lot of these are very explicitly queer themed games, so. And yes, yeah, and this is another visual novel. This one is like very specifically about asexuality. So it's like yeah, that is something I'm like really excited to really like. It's nice to see that explored more. Is what I'm trying to say, but I'm stumbling over words really badly today, so. So anyway, Anyway, I don't think this game I don't think this game has music either, so I'm just going to add some. Yep, so this is Which Was Lost and Has Been Found by Drazillion. Yep, so here's the content warning. This game's antagonist is an overbearing mother who has caused lasting anxiety and self-doubt in the protagonist. The protagonist has a panic attack over the course of the game due to her. So it contains ace and aerophobia, both internalized and from that overbearing mother. So again, like I say with all content warnings here, like please take care of yourselves. If you need to step out, then I 100% understand. Then I 100% understand, and then and if that's the case, then I'll see you in 20 to 30 minutes then. And all right, Baxter. That's very understandable. So again, please do take care of yourself. And I was trying to. It's like I was trying to put on music again, but I forget which playlist I was using. It's like I specifically had one picked out for this kind of thing too. Let's see. Also, hey Fel. So the games aren't all trans, but the like. The games aren't all trans, but like, but like the bundle is. So, and the games tend to be like a large variety of queer. So. It's like you can customize a name, pronouns. You are an asexual aromantic. You have a loyal cat companion. You own a tavern named. No, I'm just gonna stick with the defaults here. So you're Blake. Your pronouns are they, them. You're an asexual aromantic. Have a loyal cat companion called Jasper. Own a tavern named Witch Home, and you are happy. Day 1. All your days start the same. You wake up, you get dressed and ready, you feed Jasper, you eat breakfast, you open Witch Home for business, and you wait until the customers start to fill in. Most taverns are most busy during the night, but not Witch Home. Ever since you discovered a knack for potions, you imagined opening a place with various magical concoctions. Ones that weren't necessarily alcoholic. And here you are. The first one to walk through the door is a familiar face. With not even a greeting, August, a genderqueer rogue with a penchant for getting into trouble simply because they're bored, strides over to the bar and sits. They strums your hands against the table impatiently. If this was anyone else, you'd probably find it irritating, but you've known August long enough to be endeared by it, to know what it means. Let me make August a drink. Mornings like this, August only ever wants one thing. Vitality. Tea brewed with spark root infused water. It's hardly even a potion. The effects are magical regardless. like, wait, do I actually have to make the drinks? Grab the tea leaves. And which one of these? Okay, that's the spark root. Oh, I guess because it's... I guess the little zappy lines coming out of it, and it's a root plant. Okay, that makes sense. A short while later, you return to August with Zir drink. Cheers, you say, and take a big sip. Within moments, they visibly perk up. That hits the spot. Thanks, Blake, they say before sliding over payment. Now energized, August leaps up from the chair and heads for the door. Another bid August farewell or asks them if they're not going to stick around. You ask if they aren't going to stick around for a while longer. August hesitates in the doorframe. Sorry, got crimes to commit, but I'll be back soon, August tells you. I appreciate this person. Truly living out the be gay, do crimes lifestyle. They give you a two-fingered salute before leaving. You know they'll return. Soon after they leave, more customers begin to trickle in. Chum doesn't ever get incredibly busy, but you are just one person. Maybe one day it'll grow into something you need to hire other people for, but for now, you're happy with what you have. All your days end the same, too. You close the tavern. You count the earnings you made that day. You and Jasper have dinner together. You read a book by the fireplace until your eyes can't stay open. You go to bed. It's all you ever wanted. Day 2. August doesn't return the next day, but they quickly become the last person on your mind. Around lunchtime, two adventurers stumble in. A ranger and a fighter. Wouldn't call them regulars, but you've seen them around. They seem like they need your help. You notice a big gash on the fighter's side. Could you brew a health potion for us? He needs one bad, the ranger says. You make them drinks. Health potions are no problem for you. All you need is sparkler-infused water and life blossom petals. Before you go make it, you ask the ranger if she wants something. Lemonade, please, she says. There's the spark root water. I guess that's lemons for the lemonade. There's the life blossom petals. You bring the ranger her lemonade before you get the health potion itself. By the time you finish making it, her glass is already empty. Nerves, probably. You bring over the potion, she eagerly takes it and helps the fighter drink. The wound closes right up. Thank you, the fighter says profusely, paying you twice the cost of both drinks. You introduce yourself. Oh, we're manners. I'm Vidya, the ranger says. And I'm Carson, her companion adds. They happily keep you company at the bar. It isn't long before personal questions are exchanged. You ask if they're dating. You know asking such a question might be rude, but you can't help it. Haven't known them for very long, but they seem close. Kind of intimacy you envy sometimes. Vidya laughs at your question. We get that a lot, she says. Vidya and I are queer platonic partners, actually. Carson explains. Aww. So it's like I've heard of that, but like I want to hear how the game explains it. They're nothing but patient with your questions. Love this idea that romantic love is better or more important than other kinds of love, Carson explains. It's not true. Other kinds of love, like platonic love, can be just as important. Our relationship is a platonic partnership that isn't less than a romantic one, Vidya adds. It's like, oh, I didn't know there was a word for that. The way you describe matches something you've thought about before. The idea of being someone's partner without the romance or sex aspect of it, but you dismiss it. Thought you were just yearning something you'd don't actually want, because that's what everyone around you wants. Not even told there's a word for it. Vijay and Carson's words linger as you close the tavern, as you count your earnings, as you and Jasper have dinner together, as you try and read a book by the fireplace, as you go to bed and try to sleep. You can't escape it. Day 3. When you open the tavern the next day, you're surprised to find people waiting outside. Vijay and Carson talk excitedly with each other in hushed tones. They only seem to notice. They only stop when they notice the door open. Keeping zero distance from the other two, August stands restlessly. They have a glint in their eye, the kind that can only mean they put off a heist against some rich person. Yay! Way to go! They all follow you inside. Vijay and Carson resume talking to each other once they've sat down. Jasper decides they want August's attention and climbs into their lap immediately. This gives you a moment to yourself, but also leaves you with a choice. Whose order do you ask first? Dinner, August. I'm sorry. I want to know how crime went. Maybe it's because you're closer to August. Maybe it's because Jasper is there. Maybe it's because you're not ready to talk to Vijay and Carson. Regardless, you approach August and Jasper. They definitely seem chipper this morning. Surprise me, don't worry, I can pay, is all they say when you ask what they want. Luckily you know what you'll make. You busy yourself with making a manberry and life blossom smoothie. The perfect drink for a morning when everyone's in such high spirits. Grab the milk, you grab the manberry juice, grab the life blossom petals. And yeah, if you're curious, the game makes you click them in order. As you bring over the smoothie, you hear the door swing open. Don't think much of it, but you're certainly disappointed you won't be able to sit down with August. Then you hear Jasper hiss. Then you turn and see her. Blake, she says. It's Mother. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause the music because it's too cutesy for this part. In a moment, everything fades away. You can barely register that she's talking. Something about how she's been looking for you, that she's been searching for you all these years. Think about is that she's here, that you didn't run away far enough, and now there's nowhere to go. There's nothing you can do. Ma'am, you need to leave, Carson's voice rings out. His imposing figure moves to block her out of your sight. I'm Blake's mother, she insists. And I don't think they want you here, you hear August say. You don't know that, she sputters. And you do, Vijay challenges. I'll come back later, Mother says. And then she's gone. You collapse onto the floor. Carson helps you to a seat. August slides your smoothie over to you. Vijay coaxes Jasper over. While you drink, August goes behind the bar. What's a calming drink I can make you? August asks. You can tell them how to make one. Let August make you a drink. Lavender manberry tea, or tranquility, as you'd call it in more jovial times, is thankfully easy to make. Just grab the tea leaves and the lavender and the manberry juice. Calming properties of the tea wash over you as you drink. You're still shaken. Not even magic can take that away, but the tea helps. Knowledge that there are people that care about you helps. The cat in your lap helps. And for now, that's enough. August, Vijay, and Carson all refuse to leave. They don't want to leave you alone. They don't want to leave you at the mercy of your mother. So you let them stay overnight. It's a sleepover, Vijay declares. The hardwood floors won't be comfortable to sleep on. You apologize for... We're not just gonna leave over that, August retorts, almost offended. Carson just grins. We're adventurers. We've dealt with worse, he assures you. You're so grateful for them. You close the tavern together. You don't bother counting your earnings. That can wait. You all have dinner together. You talk until you fall asleep. You've never felt so loved. Day 4. When you wake up, you decide that you're not opening the tavern today. Even a good night's rest isn't quite enough to recover from yesterday. And what if she comes back? You can't face her again so soon. After you get dressed, Carson approaches you. Can I use your kitchen to make breakfast for everyone? He asks. I can either tell him yes or insist that he doesn't have to. It's like, he's being nice, I'm just gonna let him do the thing. Soon the whole tavern is filled with the smell of Carson's wonderful cooking. And you suddenly realize something. This is the first time someone other than you's used this kitchen. Ever since you found a witch home, you've done all of your cooking. Then you realize something else. Yesterday was the first time someone else used your brewing apparatus. It's terrifying how quickly you've let them into your life. But you all eat breakfast together. Usually for you, it's a quick affair. After all, you have a tavern to open. But today, you let yourself take your time, savor each bite, enjoy the company. After they're done with eating, August stands up and heads for the door. For a moment, you wonder if they're leaving as usual, but then August speaks up. I'm heading to the market to buy supplies. It's a statement, not a question. Can either wish them a safe trip, ask if I can come with, or tell them it's fine, I can do it myself. I'll ask if I can come with. Call out to August and say pause. Are you sure? They ask. Aren't you worried about bumping into her? You hadn't even thought about that. It's like... like neither lets them leave or go with them, and I think I'm gonna stay comfy here. August gives you their usual two-fingered salute and heads out the door. So you turn your attention away from them, you notice Vidya has her bow out. Looks like she's ready to leave as well. Think I'm going out to do a bit of foraging in the woods, she says, once she notices you looking. Do you want to come with me? I don't have any combat skills. You're absolutely not a combatant. Mostly use your magic to get potions to the right temperature or get an insight into how Jasper's feeling. The important stuff. Tell Vidya as much. She smiles. Oh, don't worry, that won't matter, she assures you. Sure, I'll go along with her. Follow Vidya out into the nearby forest. You have a complex relationship with it. It's beautiful, and it's where you get some of your ingredients. It's also dangerous, and the home to many creatures that can hurt you. That hurt Carson 2 days ago. But Vidya seems at home here. She is completely relaxed. She wanders between the trees without a care in the world. Occasionally she picks some mushrooms or some berries. And I'm gonna say, her easy confidence reassures you. Eventually Vidya speaks up. As much as you're enjoying the fresh air, I actually asked you out here to check in with you. Deep down you knew this was coming. So, how are you holding up, Blake? She asks, turning to you. The only option is tell her very little. Vidya means well, but you don't actually know her very well. But the fact that she saw you at such a low point would be mortifying if she weren't so kind. You give her a non-committal answer that you're doing better than how you were yesterday. I'm glad, she says with a forced smile before returning to berry picking. Spend the rest of the time in the woods in silence. By the time you're back, it's approaching dusk. You put away the basket full of mushrooms, berries, and herbs that you collected. Meanwhile, Vidya catches up with Carson. Blake, did you want us to stay overnight? August asks, looking out the window. You hadn't thought about that yet. Your mother's visit was only yesterday. You hadn't recovered. You don't expect to for some time. Still, this isn't right after a panic attack. There's still 3 people you're not exactly close to, and you still have your boundaries. You tell them you need some space to yourself. They understand, of course. They stay for dinner, but head out afterwards. You read your book by the fireplace to distract yourself from your thoughts, and go to bed once your eyes can't stay open and drift off. Day 5. This is gonna be when the mom comes back, isn't it? You wake up feeling surprisingly refreshed. You're glad that you didn't have the others stay overnight. You needed your usual routine back. Open the tavern. August strides into the tavern the moment you unlock the door. Vidya and Carson greet you as they trail in after. They weren't the only ones waiting. A small crowd is gathered outside. Seems that news of you closing the tavern for the day got around. You invite them in. Your morning starts off with a rush of orders for sparkroot coffee. You've never seen most of these people, but you're grateful they've stopped by. You have the sparkroot infused water. Grab the coffee beans. You grab the milk. But with all the orders, you barely even have time to think. Even still, you keep expecting her to walk in the door. Every time you turn back, you worry she'll be there when you turn back around. But she isn't. Not this time. You do your best to focus. A few hours later, the orders for coffee give way for Manaberry mimosas. I've never seen so many people in Witch Home at once. You can hardly get a break. Right. I have to make the Manaberry mimosas. Where's the Manaberry and champagne? I was like, I don't actually know what's in mimosas. but it's okay. There's a lull in customers after lunch. I'm glad you're able to catch your breath. Didn't really expect that closing your tavern for a day would cause this. You're grateful yet overwhelmed at the same time. Not only are you dealing with more people than usual, but the fact that all of them decided to come means that like some people were talking about you. You're the center of attention today. Thankfully, the rest of your afternoon and evening aren't as hectic. But while you have fewer customers, the ones you do have are a bit more adventurous. You even get to make the bonfire, a combination of rum, manaberry juice, and a squeeze of lemon that you set alight with your own magic. The rum, there's the manaberry juice, and there's the lemons. Eventually, all the customers leave, except August, Vidya, and Carson. But they keep their distance, give you some space, support you from afar. And while you enjoy their company, you need this right now. A moment to collect yourself. You have a quick dinner after the others leave. Then you collapse right into bed. You've never felt so exhausted. You fall asleep instantly. Day 6. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of trying to decide how much more of this I want to play because A, I forgot to start my usual timer at the beginning of this, and B, I know it's gonna be a rough scene when the mother comes back, but I'm also not gonna want to stop the scene midday. So it's like okay, I am enjoying this. I'm gonna go on for one more day probably. So much to your dismay, you wake up early. You're not even well rested. No, things will be worse if you try to go back to sleep. So you get up and make you and Jess for breakfast. By the time you finish breakfast, you're feeling a little bit better. Enough that you decide you might as well open a bit early, so you unlock the door. Fully expected to see August, Vidya, and Carson waiting outside. But they're not. But she is. Oh, I called it. But you know, I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping, so... Mother, she's back. Just when you weren't expecting her. Shouldn't have ever lowered your guard. So this is really what you've done with your life, she comments. Running a tavern with only a cat for company, no partner, no children. try to ignore the words, but you can't. Really thought you'd find the right person by now. Why can't you black out her comments? Step away from them. Before you can even register, August is standing in the doorway, between you and Mother. There are two knives firmly in their hands. Your savior. The very least, Mother knows when she's outnumbered, but before she leaves, she turns back to you. We're going to have a talk, you and I, she promises. I'm coming back after you close tomorrow. Without waiting for a reply, she heads towards the town. What a piece of work, August growls, sheathing their knives. You can't help but agree. The others follow you into the tavern. Emotions are high, all needing to process what just happened. Wordlessly, you retreat into your living quarters. Even in the comfort of your room, you can't escape Mother's words. You can't stop thinking about what she said. Despite the fact that she's not saying anything new, despite the fact that she's just repeating the same old statements, they still sting. They still open wounds you thought had already healed. They still make you feel unlovable and you feel so alone. Your door creaks open. For a moment, you think one of the others did it. Then you see Jasper looking up at you, and you relax. You pat your lap, and Jasper leaps up. For a while, you can forget your thoughts and pet a cat. Eventually, there's a knock at your door. Blake, did you want us to close the tavern for the day? August asks. And suddenly you remember you can't just stay in your room the whole day. Well, to your surprise, the others have figured out how they can help you. Hello, what would you like today? We need one hot toddy, Vidya calls out to you. Need tea leaves, whiskey, and honey, yeah? August asks, looking through the ingredients. August grabs the tea leaves, whiskey, and honey. They don't necessarily make the process faster, but it's nice to feel supported. Once the tavern is closed for the night, you turn to discussing Mother. After all, she is returning tomorrow, and you need to be prepared. I'm staying over, August declares. For a moment, you're confused. Your mother's coming back in the evening, after all. Then you realize August was worried about a repeat of this morning, and that compels you to say yes. You all eat dinner together. Then Carson and Vidya head off. August doesn't get out their bedroll. It says they make yourself comfortable in your armchair. Jasper jumps up into their lap soon after. Both of them drift off to sleep together. Day 7. And it's like, I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna get heavy, like it already is kind of getting heavy for me. Just gonna say my relationship with my own parents is kind of complicated. But it's like, I am willing to go forward with this one. Again, please take care of yourselves. If any of you need to step out, please do. Day 7. In the morning, you make breakfast for you, Jasper, and August. While you eat, something occurs to you. You know that Vidya and Carson are ace-spec because they're queer platonic partners. But you can't say the same for August, so you ask them. Oh, I'm ace but not arrow, August says, unfazed by the question. So yeah, you could say I have some kind of personal stake in the matter. Let me make one thing clear, as they say, looking up from their food. I'm here because it's you, not just because it's some kind of aphobe showed up. Got it? Crystal clear. Okay, and Flutters, I want to be very clear here. If I feel like I really need to stop, I will. If I feel like I really need to stop mid-scene, even, I absolutely will. It's like, no, this story is, it's like, it's hitting my feelings, but like, I'm doing okay enough that I want to see this through. After you finish up breakfast, Vidya and Carson arrive. They both look tired, but happy to be there. Vidya wanted to stay up and keep an eye on you, Carson explains. I was worried that your mother would return in the middle of the night. And, well, I couldn't let her do it alone. Don't worry, nothing happened, Vidya assures you. That's not what or who you were worried about. Unfortunately, a customer enters before you can even start discussing plans together. Others give you space, promising to come up with something by the end of the day. While all your attention turns to making an espresso daiquiri. That's coffee beans and rum. A few hours you've managed to only think about making drink. Gone are your worries, gone are your fears. You don't even really think about the others. Then you finally take your lunch break. And thoughts about Mother's impending visit start rushing into your brain. Can't help but wonder what you're going to do, if only you could brew a potion and solve the problem. But the only potion that would work involves whiskey, literal liquid courage. Maybe you'd have to confront your mother while buzzed, so that's out of the question. You can't do this. That much is clear to you. You're out of your depth. Nothing the others say will be able to change your mind. Hi, Claire. Nice to see you. So heads up, I am playing like a couple games from a bundle, and so I am gonna warn you that this one's this one's a little rough emotionally, because it's like because it's about an Arrow Ace person who whose family is not supportive of that, and whose mother just like putted them down. So it's like, it's good, I am enjoying this, but this gets rough, and like if you need to step out for your own mental health, please do so. Tell the others what you've done for the day. That you're retreating to your living quarters. They should just scare Mother off. Turn away, not wanting to see pity in their eyes. The others do what you told them to. They chase Mother away, but it's a hollow victory. Witch Home is no longer the haven it once was. Every day you live in fear that she'll be back. Eventually you sell off Witch Home and set off on a journey. To where, you're not sure. Jasper accompanies you, of course. Others volunteer to join you, but you turn them down. Grateful for their help, but you've relied on them so much already. You don't want to be a burden to them anymore. Bad end. There are other endings? It's like, okay, I was not even aware there were choices being made there. And it's like, I want to see the good ending, so I'm gonna have to come back to this sometime. I'm not sure when that'll be, but yeah. Yeah, like, I'm definitely gonna look up, like, how do you get the good ending in this game, and then, like, go and actually do that, so... So anyway, let's do one more of these. Doing one more of these. I'm not sure how much energy I have in me. That this might be like a short one, just out of necessity. But let's see. So, trans witches or witches. If you disagree, get stitches. Now, give me a game that explores some interesting niches. Okay, I promise not all the games on this list are visual novels, but this is another visual novel. This is another visual novel that I think has content warnings attached to it, so, give me a minute to set this up here. Name is... The full title of this one is Nameless, The Departed Cycle. And like, Honestly, I'm probably only gonna play like a little bit of this, but we'll see. Again, this one is like a visual novel made for a game jam, but like... And yeah, this is one about werewolves, I believe. So let me put on a timer so I know how long I'm playing. First night we met was a night for lies and introductions. Do any of the games have kitties? So we played one with a kitty earlier. Unfortunately, it was like an evil demon kitty who seems like they might want to kill you, maybe. But anyway, I don't think this game has kitties. I could be wrong, though. First night we met was a night for lies and introductions. The man slipped out of the woods like a wraith, all sinew and smiles, hovered at the edge of the fire like half cloaked in the deep night around us both.
Who goes there?
Oh, another one with voice acting. Again, pleasantly surprised.
Just a lone traveler, looking for a warm place to spend time with company.
There were hints of his strangeness even then. I squinted to make out the subtleties of his expression, but the way the firelight caught at the creases in his face left him an enigma. There was something unseen just below his skin. Made me think of my own body, aching with travel in a way I had never ached before. A reminder of old prices I'd chosen to pay. But pay I would, all my tolls without complaint. Yet, in that moment, all I could feel was a bone-deep reminder of how far I'd come, and the question of how far I still needed to go.
Name? Lone traveler.
The word traveler stuck between my teeth and hissed out in a puff of air. I'd met many travelers, and this man was not one of them.
Nameless. That's what everyone calls me here.
There are others in the Umbral Forest.
No.
Then who calls you by this name? Myself, the shadows between the trees, the distant wind, if she's feeling friendly.
I see. Nameless. Well met.
He laughed, and the sound made me shiver. It was clear and wicked, like the sharp end of a sword hitting a bell. Nobody means well in the Umbral Forest. True enough. And you are?
Ezra Almazi.
Nameless stepped forward gingerly, the light wrapping around him in an ember-soaked curtain. Bare toes were the first thing I saw clearly before they sunk into the thick covering of the forest floor. His nails were golden red. His body flowed down, fiery hair bouncing around his thin face, as he stepped closer and took a seat across from me. The light caught the shifting movement and made him look as if he wore a halo of flame. Did I invite you to share my fire? I tried to say it sternly, but my desire for company softened the words.
Well.
Ah yes, pleasantries. For a noble traveler, Sir Almalsi of the unnamed lands beyond these woods, would you like to share this fire in my company? You speak as if you own my camp. Nameless didn't answer, instead letting silence hang in the air. He tilted his head to the side in consideration, earrings tinkling softly with emotion. That wicked little curl of his lips didn't falter, how very insolent. In the old days, I'd seen that gaze 1,000 times. I knew from the itch between my shoulders that he oozed the confidence of a man who did not know what he toyed with. Where had he said I was from? The unnamed lands? Now that was interesting. I'd hardly call the lands beyond unnamed. Nameless shifted, leaning forward, body taut with the still potential of a wound spring.
Really?
Then what would you call it? Just outside of these woods, the luminous plains.
Ooh.
Luminous plains, do they glow? An irksome question. I looked at him, unsure if he was toying with me. He was leaning forward, face flushed with boyish excitement. I felt a surge of irritation. Why should I have to speak the place I'd spent a week traveling across, being bitten by glow bugs and coated in incandescent pollen? If he wanted to lay claim to the title of traveler, he could travel there himself. Just go and look. Day's journey at most, and the answer is yours. Maybe I should. I'd rather you told me, though. I prefer imagining. He looked into the fire, the crackling heat sending embers into the air. He was picking at the grass, his lips pushed into a nearly suppressed frown. I felt as if I had denied a child a bedtime story. Nobody had the right to slip between slyness and innocence like that. To lay your guilt on top of the wariness in my bones. So where do you go, Nameless of the umbral forest, if you do not set foot upon the plains? This place is plenty large for traveling. Spare me. A traveler in his own lands is no traveler at all. He blinked slowly, gaze slipping over to my worn boots. I pulled them off and placed them near my bedroll.
Why don't you tell me a story?
Sure. Very well, I see no reason to reject your company. Maybe you can give me answers. If it's a secret of the umbral forest, perhaps I can. I thought of Bastion, favored and lost, tucked under the sheets. That would be his burial cloth if I failed. My boy. If I humored him, maybe he could guide me towards the prize I was seeking. Do you know anything of the Burnished Empire? That name is too new for me to know it.
But what's a name, really? Nothing I'd miss.
Empire's over 300 years old. He shrugged, and it was too controlled to be anything but feigned. Maybe I forgot it then. It holds no meaning in this forest. I grunted, tired of his weak attempts to hide his ancientness. If anyone could see it, it would be me. What are you? Oh no, Almasi, not unless you tell me what you are first. I am a man. You're as bad a liar as I am. Might smell like one now, but you weren't always. I can smell that too. I'm a man now, and that's all you need to know. Did not push him on his origin, and he did not push me further on mine. Go on then, tell your story.
Very well.
I live within the Burnished Empire by my son, on the outskirts of a small village, away from the cities and their filth. Thought that would keep him safe, keep us safe.
Really?
You have a son?
Bastion.
I do. His name is Bastion. I could see a conjure before me as if by magic. My vision of what happened 2 weeks ago painfully vivid. My mouth was dry as I told the Nameless of my greatest failure, my greatest shame. How else could I find the clues as to what I was seeking?
Bastion.
Bastion, where are you, boy? 2 hours since he'd run off to play in the underbrush. It wasn't how long he was gone that made me worry, but the silence that permeated everything when I called for his return. A scream would have been more comforting than that cursed silence. Then I found him, a curled and shivering body. It didn't seem possible. He was always smiling, so full of movement and life even when he tried to sit still. That could not be my boy.
No.
But it was. When I scooped him up, he felt smaller and more fragile than I remembered. Only 10. Childhood escaped one cruel fate on the streets of the capital, for another one found lurking in a rotten log. I ran to the shaman as fast as my legs could carry me. It's good that you brought him here, Isra, but I'm afraid it may be too late. Hit the side of the wall, rattling the ingredients and baubles that hung from the ceiling and sat scattered across her shelves.
No.
What do you mean? He still breathes! Shaman hesitated, then pulled up Bastion's sleeve to show me a vicious-looking mark. It's huge and red, but I could see dark tendrils starting to form under the skin where the 2 little pinpricks sat. This is the bite of a vermilion wanderer, a spider so named after the venomous Beast King, who gifted them with such a deadly touch. While she spoke, she moved around her hut, pulling ingredients off of shelves and placing them carefully into her mortar and pestle. I can stop the venom from killing him outright, but that is it. I cannot cure him, and it will remain in his body until he withers away and dies. There must be something. Tell me, Arne, what can I do to aid you? I need to help him! Her grinding stones stopped. With deft and careful fingers, she scooped up a thick paste and smeared it over the bite. Bastion didn't make a single sound beyond his labored breathing. There is one thing I have heard. What? Tell me! Find the first creature whose sting could steal away breath. If you're able to obtain its heart, it could be used to heal your son. It is the only heart strong enough to ward off a bite like this one.
All right.
And where must I go? To the Umbro Forest. Legend has it that the venomous Beast King lives there. There are also whispers of a shadow, and a strange man whose company brings curses and misfortune. You know, I'm sure we're not in his company now or anything. You know, telling him this story or anything, that would be weird. I've already been cursed once. I see no reason to fear a second one. I'll save my boy. She shook her head and looked at me as if I were a fool. Perhaps I was. I can watch over him, but he will not awaken. I advise haste. I will give him a little over a month before he succumbs, even with my aid. How do I get to the Umbro Forest? Follow the red star, the tail of the constellation.
The name of the stars.
The red star will tell me where to go, then I will follow it. That is all I need to know.
So tell me, Nameless, have you heard of this king of venom?
No, but I have heard of a stranger who brings misfortune.
That what good luck was back. I imagine you have. He turned serious. I also know of the shadow. It is real and present all around us. Ward your dreams and watch your step, Almasi. He likes tricks even more than I do. A gust of wind blew across the clearing, violent and forceful. Dust and dead leaves made me squint. My fire flickered with the strength of the sudden gale, and for a moment I saw Nameless's face contort into a glowing mask of rage. Then he was gone. You showed yourself quickly this time.
Visage.
Leave me be. Can't even give me one conversation free of your corruption. I wanted to remember the campsite, the feeling of someone looking across dancing firelight at me. What's the same thing they all want? But his boy. I've always been a fool, but never thought you an idiot until now. People lie.
People lie. Almost as reliably as you do.
He moved closer, putting a hand that was a dark reflection of my own on my shoulder. I stepped back.
No!
Do not touch me! Glanced back through the trees where Almasi still stared into the flames. Oh, how pathetic. You're planning on watching over him tonight? How I spend my time is none of your business. You're such a sad little voyeur. Should I send him sweet whispers for your amusement? Leave him be! Remember the healer woman? The one in the plate armor? Didn't you like it when I made her rip off her own face? Stop! Memory was already there. The screams, the way she cursed my name. Gods, had I really made her laugh with me the night before she died? I don't remember what joke I made, but I've been so proud of it. Lashed out at him with razor nails that passed through his torso and tore deep scratches out of the tree behind him. She breathed in, and I felt a dagger of ice deep in my soul. Maybe I'll show him something similar, and you can bond over the memory. He was gone in the same fit of one that had summoned him. He was somewhere, hiding in the silence now, watching. I should tell Almasi to go, that he can't find his treasure here. Maybe it would be true, after all. Didn't know if the venomous beast he searched for even had a real heart. Okay, one more scene, and then I'm gonna call this stream because I need to go get lunch. Father, it won't leave! My son was shaking, fingers pressed just below his eyes. I'm not real. Look at me, Father. I'm not supposed to be here. Fingers started digging into the sides of his cheeks. Blood streamed in dark rivulets from the gashes, curving towards his lips and dripping across his opened mouth. I rushed him to pull him close to my chest. I'm not real. He shook his head back and forth, splattering red across my shirt. I placed my palm on the top of his head, the way I always did whenever he was sad. Why did you make me this way? You've cursed me. It's your fault. The words cut, my deepest fear spoken. I could only hope this was not a true sending. The world flexed around me, and I could see the edges of this nightmare. If I pushed, I could escape it. I need to wake the hell up from this.
Bastion.
I cried his name aloud before I'd even awoken. I shuddered, coated in a clammy sweat. Felt ill and sluggish, like I'd overheated then cooled too quickly. As if the dream itself still clung to my body, I wanted it off. There were streams that cut through this forest. Bathing would not be amiss. Sunlight filtered through the trees, pushing the shadows of my mind back to a fitful rest. Carefully, I began to pack away my bedroll when I froze. Glistening red hair was caught in the fabric. If expecting Nameless to walk out from the brush, I glanced around. Nothing. That heaviness always in the air, I felt more washed this morning than I had when I first entered the woods. Perhaps it was a creature that resided here in shadow, the one Nameless spoke of. Kept my eye out for traces of a beast in the woods while I made my way to the stream. Nothing but stillness. Silence had made me wonder if there was something vicious just beyond my sight. Water was cool and refreshing. I scrubbed furiously as if scraping at my skin to remove all traces of that cursed dream. I would not shiver in the face of nighttime specters I had long ago learned to banish. There was a rustle in the trees and a sensation of being watched intensified. Looked towards the source, there was nothing but a swaying branch. You'll be searching for me soon enough. I couldn't hold my human form during full daylight, but it was so long with watching, taking whatever moments I could get. I knew how to sound like one when I stalked prey, to leap when birds chittered, to freeze when eyes glanced in my direction. He would not find me, for I would not let him. I perched in a tree that was nearly above the stream he'd chosen to bathe in. Everything he did was so controlled, so methodical. He stripped every piece of armor off with a sense of purpose that filled me with unreasonable envy. What's with all those marks? Red shining scar tissue snaked across Isra's chest and back. There are too many to easily count, especially from this distance. They weren't all made at the same time. What could have caused them? I leaned forward to get a better look at him. The branch I'd chosen as my wrist shifted. Almost he looked up. I scrabbled further up the tree and wondered if he caught a glimpse of my tail before I vanished from sight. So I'm gonna call this game here. But this is really interesting. It's like, this is really interesting. I don't know that I'd stream more of this. I would definitely play more of this. But yeah. No, that's a look at a couple of the games in this bundle. Again, I promise not all of them are visual novels. But please do check that out. Please talk about these games instead of that other wizard game I'm not gonna mention. And yeah, so the remaining games will go into like a shuffler that I'll do on some future stream. I'm not sure when that'll be. But, you know, I definitely want to take a look at the rest of these games at some point, so... You know, and a bunch of games from previous bundles, so, yeah. Let's see here... Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna send you over to Ria Kurvidova. She's playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Here, so go watch that and have a nice day, y'all. Again, please do take care of yourselves and each other.